In this video, I'll be multiplying together two binomial expressions, both of which contain a radical. So in the question it says I need to state restrictions on the variable. Since the variable x is located underneath a square root sign with an even index of 2, then I need to make sure that x is positive. If not, I cannot take the square root of a negative number. So I need to state that x has to be 0 or larger. The next thing I need to look at here is the type of multiplication I'll need to use. Since I have two binomial expressions, I need to make sure I multiply all combinations of the numbers contained in them. So I need to make sure I multiply 2 root x by 3 and 2 root x by 6 root 6. I also need to make sure that I multiply 1 by 3 and 1 by 6 root x. So to begin, let's take the first terms of 2 root x and 3. So if I have 2 times root x times 3, I would only need to multiply the 3 and the 2 together because that's the only part I can do since they're both whole numbers. So I would say 3 times 2 root x. The next part I would need to do is multiply 2 root x by 6 root x. So I can see I have a subtraction sign here. That's a positive, which means that this would be subtraction here. And I've got 2 times 6 outside of the root sign. And I've got x times x underneath the root sign. So this would be the first part of the multiplication complete. Next I need to multiply both terms in the second bracket by 1. So next I have positive 1 times positive 3, which would mean plus 3. And I have positive 1 times negative 6 root x. So I would subtract 6 root x. So in the next step here, I'm going to simplify it. I've got 3 times 2, which is 6 root x. I've got 2 times 6, which is 12. And x times x is x squared. Plus 3 minus 6 root x. Now in this step, I can see that I've got a positive 6 root x and a negative 6 root x. Well, those two terms will cancel with one another because if you subtract a number from itself, the answer is 0. So what I have left then is a negative 12 square root of x squared plus 3. Now since I'm taking the square root of x squared, that would just be x. So my final answer would be 12x plus 3, once again stating my restriction that x must be greater than or equal to 0.